All right, it's time for another Pin Culture Present. Today we've got possibly the most confident man in London, and he's got a business called Quantum Rizz. Diego Day. Welcome to the show, bro.
Not a bad intro.
Not bad.
It's good to be the best at something, right?
Hey, mate, everyone's world class at something.
There you go.
So, obviously, you pop up on Instagram pretty much every 5 scrolls at the moment. You're booming nicely. 170k nearly on Instagram, nearly 1 million on TikTok. Where did this all start? Was there like, was it one of those stories where you just did something for fun and it blew up?
So it all started, the little boy from Rosario.
The little, what's that? What do you mean?
It's a Messi reference. So everyone comments on my post.
Oh, sick.
So Messi is the little boy from Rosario.
Right.
So everyone comments on my thing, the little boy from Rizz, Ario.
Nice, nice.
But no, it wasn't quite a Messi story. It was very much a clean story.
He's media trained. He's media trained.
And I was in Mexico. I always kind of knew I was going to be in front of camera. You know, you get that feeling when you're just a cocky piece of shit. So you're going to be in front of camera. I said it so you didn't have to. So I was in Mexico and I met some people doing some similar stuff. I jumped on it doing the kind of public interview thing, and very quickly realized I don't want to do what everyone else is doing, and I'd much rather do something that I'm good at. Went to the drawing board. 2 things I'm really good at in life. One was football, and one was speaking to girls.
Well, evidently.
And that was the avenue I decided to go in, and the rest was...
Was it instant? Was it like you made a couple of videos and they just boomed, or was it a slow?
No, so I was doing, it was a slow burner, and the whole career from bottom to top has been slow burner, jump, slow burner, jump. I've been constantly growing, which has been amazing. You know, like a couple of highlights that really jumped. It was my first viral video on TikTok, which was a 20 miller, which was
20 mil.
I'm just bait reposting one of my videos and a pop off there. So there were jumps within it, and now I'm at the point where I'm posting like 2-3 videos a day, and one of them's usually hitting like 1 mil.
And you just go out around London or wherever you are and do it.
Yeah, I love to travel, so.
I mean, that helps you can do that. Can you do that now? You've got a platform?
Yeah, as long as, I mean, financially, I've always had other jobs until about now when I'm pretty much full-time.
Amazing.
So I've always supported myself financially. I'm very intelligent with money. I don't spend a lot.
What was your, going back to before you started this, what were you doing?
So I was playing football, and then I went to football coaching, and then soon after I was doing football coaching alongside like social media management. So again, I was always around the industry, and I was looking at how, you know, the algorithms were working and stuff like this. So when I did it, it was kind of a, but I haven't been around for too long.
I was going to say, when was the start of all of this?
I would say every time I'm answering this question, I forget it's getting longer. I said like a year for the last 6 months, so maybe about 1.5 years.
That's amazing, and you're at nearly 1 million on TikTok. That is bonkers. So tell me, what is the term for what you do?
Rizz.
Rizz. What does that mean?
I hate to say it. I've learned to try and love it, but it's so cringy. When it's being like texted in the comments, it's quite funny. When people remix the words like Boris Johnson and Wizard of Oz and stuff like that.
Oh, we can bang on those. We'll go for a section of that after this.
So Rizz originates from the word charisma.
Okay.
But essentially it's just being able to talk to girls.
Yeah, because I was going to say there's a fine line between talking to girls and maybe going over the boundary and being a bit creepy, but I've noticed with yours, you're very good at knowing exactly where the line is. It never really comes across as too far, you know what I mean?
Yeah, when it doesn't.
You clearly know what you're doing. It's pretty obvious. It wouldn't be, you wouldn't post it. But has that always been the case for you, or is it?
I say my trick is, I'd like to say I'm quite good at energy. I'm positive energy, and it's very hard to say no to positive energy. Now, girls will say no to everything. We know that. We live in London. Girls will say no to everything.
Yeah.
And because they don't trust guys, they don't feel super comfortable around guys. some justifiedly, some a bit over the top, but we're here and it's the situation, so you have to look for the solution. For me, the solution's always been, be good energy. It's the hardest thing to say no to. You will still get rejected 100%, because I just try and be super good energy around people. Now, sometimes people turn the shoulder and go, the fuck is this guy doing? You know, but that's fine, because I'm not doing it as an act. It's just me, and if someone doesn't accept me, I'm at the kind of point where I'm completely fine with it.
Love that. Such a growth mindset to have. I think it's when you're fully secure in yourself, you are just able to be like, well, if you don't like me, that's your problem.
And as well as when you're at my stage of life, I've gone through a massive mental journey, still completely on the way. Yeah, just in general, nothing crazy. Just, I really observe like my psychological well-being.
Very introspective.
So I like to see exactly where I am and exactly what affects it how. So kind of at the stage I am now, and reading a great book called The Four Agreements.
Yes,
You done it?
I haven't read it. It's on my reading list.
Definitely should move it up the list. It just talks about how like anyone's negative energy is completely on them and has nothing to do with you. So not in a spiteful way, but if someone doesn't want to accept my positive energy, that's energy that's very valuable to me.
Absolutely.
So if that means I have to keep it to myself, it's more for me, right? So there's always solutions.
Such a good way to bounce through life, because I think people, I think, far too often will confuse. Say you have a bad experience with someone, they will think, oh, they don't like me. They don't. Actually, most of the time, it's nothing to do with you. It's they're going through something.
100%.
And I think that's a really good way to spin it. Is listen, I've got this positive energy. If you can't accept that, fine. If not, if you do, fucking brilliant.
100%.
What's? Sorry, go on.
No. I mean, even if it is to do with you, you have to be more. You have to hold a higher self-value to not start changing certain things about you. I always say there's a fine line between being in a situation where you're like, I'm good enough, I'm amazing, I'm fabulous just the way I am, and then being lazy with that, to not care about who you are, to not care about how you act, to not be proactive in exercise, in being a passionate person,
building yourself,
right? Growing yourself in any way as you wish, and then just kind of saying it and being like, I'm fine the way I am, when actually
that's when you fall off the cliff, I guess.
Right. So it's, the balance there is super.
So have you always had this sort? Because it's really refreshing to have this sort of positive attitude across everything. Has that always been the case with you?
Positive, yes. Intelligent, no. I don't like the word intelligent. Wise, no.
Really?
Positive, always. Knowing how to completely channel the positive energy and understanding positive energy. Now it's like the biggest thing I believe in is energy. When you surround yourself around positive energy, it literally, as you said, you bounce through life as opposed to crash through every hurdle.
Well, if you surround yourself with shit, you become shit. That's the thing, I think.
Super true. So, I'd say the positive side of things I've always been.
That's awesome.
But definitely I've grown, and I think opening yourself to learning. And I mean, as a 19, 20-year-old, I remember.
How old are you now?
How old do you think I am?
You're young, 24. Wow.
Well, I'm not 12.
That's amazing. Well, I was like, hang on, what's going on now? That's amazing. 21. Mate, that's incredible, because you do come across, the emotional intelligence is off the scale. Really impressive.
But that's just, I think, as I said, I'm quite lucky that I actually had a worse attitude earlier on, which then showed me that I was so wrong, because I got humbled so many times. You know, when you're a kid and the parents always, or the adults always tell you, listen, you'll see one day. You know, I was 19, but I'm never going to have any kids, ever. I don't know if I will, but for sure I'm not going to sit here and say I'm never going to have any kids. And I remember, I'd even argue with them. I have the audacity to be like, trust me, I know everything. And you just get a couple of humbling lessons, and the most intelligent man is the one who realizes how fucking dumb we are. Everyone, 100%. We're so fucking dumb.
Thick. Men by default are proud, but also ignorant at the same time. It's so interesting you say this, because I think, do you read books now quite a lot?
Excuse incoming, patheticness incoming. I'm dyslexic. So I do really struggle to sit down and read.
Same.
But when I have done it, I've loved it. But then for some reason, as soon as I finish a book, for me to pick up another one is really difficult.
Very similar.
So it's annoying, because I'd love to get into it.
You almost convince yourself, I don't know what it is, it's like when you go to sit down and do work, it's almost as if you're convincing yourself not to. Same with books. I will have just smashed like Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, which is, read it, it is phenomenal. It's about the guy who created Nike, the most amazing story. was just fixated to this book, read it inside out, and I enjoyed it so much, but then it took me about a month to pick up another book, and you're like, why? And I think that's probably the dyslexia in us. Probably the excuses as well.
I'm not a man for excuses. I don't think dyslexia is an excuse. Maybe it's a barrier that I'm yet to overcome. Who knows?
Well, you're young as well, you've got plenty of time. So tell me about Quantum Rizz, because you've got 5,000 people on that. Over.
Yeah, I actually haven't talked about I mean, I know it's available to see anyway. I don't talk about the figures on it because I like to make sure everyone knows that it's a completely individual thing, and you're getting your benefits. The number you've seen is actually a different number to how many people are inside physically the group. There's less than
well, still, it's an awesome platform to have, because I think something particularly what's nice to see is when I was in my sort of lower 20s, there was the book The Game, and it basically, although it came across as a book, oh, this is how you can be confident with women, it actually had a lot of misogyny in it, and it turned people into these sort of fake chat-up artists. And I think what's quite refreshing is you've got a very different attitude in teaching confidence, particularly when approaching women. It's this positive, as you say, positivity. If they say no, whatever. So that leads me on to, have you heard of the 100 Days of Rejection?
No.
It's a fantastic, there's this guy, some quite nerdy looking dude online, and he said, I'm just so scared of rejection, so I decided to do 100 days of different weird things. And one would be walking up to a burger joint and going, can I have a free burger? And you know they're going to say no, and then each one progresses, but it's getting used to that rejection, which I think is so important, because you realise it doesn't really mean much. So how have you found that?
No, I mean, rejection is literally the first module on the course inside of the community. So that's for me, I'd probably say the most important aspect of it. Rejection is something that I've got to a stage where now I get a buzz off it.
Do you?
I enjoy it because, like, it keeps you grounded. Now I'm at a place where I understand it. None of it's personal. I mean, you hit it spot on, to be fair. When you get a certain amount of rejection, you just start to understand the psychological aspect behind it, which, as we spoke about at the start, first of all is a lot of people that are rejecting you are actually in rejection of themselves in some way.
Well put.
And also people that are rejecting you could have 1 million external factors that have nothing to do with you, and people still decide to take it personally. Now, we're in a world where I've never quite understood this, and maybe we're all guilty of it. I can't remember a time I have been, I'm sure I have. But we take things personally of people who are not personable to us. To us, correct. And then you're taking something personally off someone you don't give a shit about.
Energy. You are wasting energy. It's I think you're spot on there. There's no point. It's a lot. I mean, it's very easy for us to almost retrospectively go, well, I shouldn't have done that. But it's very hard to, in the moment, at the start, take it in that manner. But as you say, getting used to it, now you get a buzz off it. That's sick. Yeah. That's awesome. Because I guess it makes what you do all the more fun.
But also I know who I am, and I know who they're rejecting. Even if that's an interaction with me.
Your values.
I feel like anyone who has an interaction with me goes away feeling better, feeling more energized, feeling more positive. And because I can't really talk without smiling, which is like my biggest weakness, is I'll never have a serious conversation with anyone. Yeah, poker would not be my sport. I'll stick to Rizz for now. But like anyone who's denying that interaction with me, for sure, is denying something that's good for them and could be good for me, but anyone that would reject it, maybe it wouldn't be good for me. So when you understand your self-value,
that's such an awesome way to put it, mate. I've got to say, I have a lot of respect for this, because I think so many men, particularly, and women, can take away from that confidence in themselves, just understanding first things first, get your self-worth, get your self-value, and from there it's easier to be like, hang on, if you've got a problem, or not a problem, if you have a rejection to this conversation, who cares?
100%.
So you're enjoying Quantum Rizz is taking off, doing well off the back of what you're doing?
Yeah, it's nice.
Do you have any sort of, I mean, obviously as you grow into this marketplace, particularly with like the app we've got, more opportunities must be coming your way. Is that the case?
Well, 100%, yeah. More and bigger. I've always been quite what's the word?
Selective.
Amazing. Selective of who and what I've done.
Brilliant.
I like things to align kind of perfectly with my brand. Also, because my brand is, let's say, controversial.
Yeah.
People are definitely a bit more like reluctant, but just a bit more thoughtful.
Controversial until you actually watch a few of them. I think that's the case, because first time I saw you, I'll admit, I was like, oh, this guy's cocky, isn't he? And then you watch a few more and you're like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing.
Yeah. But also controversial at a point where, you know, we're a male side of you. Maybe you can understand what I do more, because we have similar hormones, testosterones, and these things where we can naturally understand each other better. Some women maybe are more reluctant to actually try and understand what I do.
Which is fair enough, I guess. Yeah,
everyone,
absolutely.
each to their own. And if people think I disrespect women in any way, all I could ever say is that you're completely wrong. My heart is pure, and intentionally I would never dream of disrespecting anyone.
Well said.
My reaction, my interactions are very much what's happening on a day-to-day basis. I'm just filming it.
So I've seen other, I mean, obviously Instagram, fuck it, is listening now. Obviously I'll watch loads of yours, doing research on you, and then I start getting shown, I saw a couple of American guys doing it, and the difference was stark. It was pretty much just cocky people being arseholes, but masking it with Rizz, I guess, saying it's Rizz, and it's like, it's not. It's very different to what your stuff is.
Well, my skill isn't necessarily talking to girls, it's talking to people.
Yeah.
As a salesman, right? I'm selling myself.
You're a born salesman, mate.
So, again, I think the positive energy helps loads. I do understand how to make a girl feel comfortable. The biggest thing guys need to know is that you're never going to have a 100% success rate at all. I have way less, way more than 50%.
What is what's your main advice for someone? Because I think that's key, is making a woman feel comfortable in your initial interaction. What's your best advice for that?
You have to understand who you are, how you make a woman feel, and then balance it out. Luckily for me, I have quite a feminine look. And I'm quite, no one could be, if you were scared of me, I'd be worried about you, right? I have fucking elephants tattooed on me. You know, if you were scared of me, then it would be pretty worrying. But again, going back to what we said at the start, girls are in a day and age where they're just completely terrified of any interaction with anyone. So to make girls feel comfortable, I touch on the positive energy, how you're approaching them, little details like approaching girls from the front, trying to lock eyes as early as you can.
That's important. Eye contact, yeah.
And maybe not originally just telling them like your intentions being so direct.
Well, I think it's not just to interrupt there. The thing I noticed with you is you very much in a lot of videos will go, "What do you think of me?" straight away, which I think is very smart, because you can gauge straight away what's their initial perception, which is going to be a big telltale for how how you react, I guess.
I have two types of videos I do. I do the interview type, where it's very much entertainment, I'd say, and I'm trying to push them for answers about what they rate me and what this. And then I have the videos where I'm just behind the scenes, where there's a hidden camera, and I'm going and walking up to girls, which is the much more like natural conversational side of things. So I mean, it all depends, but I definitely just try and keep the interaction super bubbly.
Love it.
And girls will feel uncomfortable with me at some points, because I'll get words wrong and I'll say something. They're not like, what we got to remember is no two girls are the same, so there's no script. And it's one of the things guys ask me a lot is like, what's the first thing I should say to a girl?
It's never one line. Never going to be the same, right?
Never, because also whatever one line you have is the same one line as a lot of other people have. So if you can find a way to be unique in the way you speak to a girl,
very good advice.
Find something in the interaction. I always talk about something in the interaction, and if not, but I try and say something that they haven't heard before.
I think I saw something about you saying you have to get something unique,
but something to make them feel an emotion that's not.
Here we go.
Another guy, right? The thing that you've just said, as a girl, the emotion you have is like confused, maybe a bit intrigued, and you feel different already. It's unique. I have had 2 negative interactions ever.
That's insane.
In person. One was, I just went to talk to a girl and she literally stuck a bit of finger up here and went, "Fuck off."
Lovely woman.
Which in London isn't too weird.
No, that's pretty.
So it's quite standard. It's quite standard. And the second one was just a guy that I think had a bit of ego on him one day and was just like staring at me and having like a staring contest with me and just quite clearly going to his friend like, "It's that fucking dick from it's that. So actually, I'd say I have 0.
It's pretty good given the videos you got out and the views you've had on them.
Facebook is the one I post on Facebook as well. I've got like 200,000 followers.
Do you?
Yeah.
Nice. It's across all sites. Yeah, you're clearly social media managed by yourself.
That's where I get any negative comments, because that's all the 40-year-old Karens that are really, really upset with their lives.
Rife on Facebook.
TikTok, I get stuff about my Twitch, and I find it quite funny because they're quite. Listen, the same way I love the uniqueness in the positive comments, I love how they take the piss out of my Twitch, but they're quite creative with it. It's fair play.
If you seem like you're able to spin situations into a positive really almost every time, which is such an awesome, particularly as you're 21. That's most people going through their 20s to 25s. Not going to be able to do that, and they all sort of, oh my god, someone's commented on. So that's commendable, man.
I reply to all the Twitch comments, and like, it's my magical power.
Yes.
You guys think I got Rizz? Like, I'm really, every time I Twitch, I'm making the girl fall in love with me more and more.
Love that, man. Well, mate, honestly, good luck with everything that's going on. We're definitely going to get you involved in as much as possible with Pinkfluence. I know most people at this place would love to have you. Speaking of this place, pasta, into it? Fan of Italian food?
Don't feed the badders pasta.
The what?
Said AJ Tracy once famously.
The quotes this man's got.
Don't feed the badders pasta. Yeah, I love a pasta. It's a bit carb heavy, isn't it?
It is a bit carb.
I know your muscles are there.
What are you talking about, mate? Well, this is a place called Pasta Nostra in Old Street, and they're on Pinkfluence, and I would say they're probably the best pasta place we've been to. So they are incredible. What's your favourite kind of cuisine?
Latina women.
Love it. Brilliant answer. I wouldn't expect anything less.
In terms of food, that's not cannibalism. I'd go sushi.
Yeah?
Yeah, even though, like...
get you to Aqua Kyoto.
Since Mr. Tate came out that video calling all sushi eaters pussies. I get it. I do get it. I do feel a bit when I'm holding chopsticks and going, but they're fucking nice.
Yeah, it's fucking delicious.
With a bit of spicy mayo and teriyaki combined.
Oh, yes. So one I found recently is things people pretend to enjoy. So have a think about that. My first one, sparkling water. It tastes like static on the TV.
Oh, is this general people on me?
Well, I think...
Oh, fucking hell. People that say alcohol tastes nice? Life, did you actually like the taste of alcohol?
Amen. I was going to say, the taste of spirits, like whiskey, it's all bullshit. Cocktails are a spirit masked with as much sugar and stuff to make it taste good. Bro. I'm glad you touched on alcohol, because that is so... Why don't you drink? Or have you ever drank, or...
You've never been a big drinker. No. Never in my life been shit-faced.
Nice. Wow.
Had social drinks. I don't do it because I think one of the reasons a lot of people do it is because it's so societistically normal.
Yeah. Especially in Britain. It's like we're almost... I was saying this to V the other day. You go out, and when you're sort of 18, 16, 18, and you're like, I'm going to get fucked up, which is the most bizarre thing. Why is that the norm?
I mean, I've heard it of girls most recently, and guys aren't guilt-free of it. But girls just go, I'm going absolutely plastered tonight. Like,
weird, eh?
For me, the most drunk I've been, when I didn't have 100% control of my body, I felt terrible. I was like, if anything happens to me right now and I can't make a completely functional decision, so that's one reason. I like to be completely in control. Obviously, I think it's a waste. I'm a big foodie, so I think it's a waste of sugar and bad health for me. I'd rather eat. I'd rather have like a cheat meal every other day or whatever. Which I'm not super strict to my diet, but I like to train hard.
What kind of training do you do just on that note?
Weights, boxing, and I do some circuits, but I'm going through rehab at the moment. I've got a lot of issues for a 21-year-old.
Really?
Yeah.
How so? Or
back and neck.
Really?
Yeah.
And tonight we are taking Diego to Hijingo Bingo, which is one of the coolest places. In fact, it's my favourite place in London. And the hardest thing for people to do is to describe Hijingo Bingo. So I'm going to interview you after it to ask you if this sounds about right. But Hijingo Bingo, when you say bingo to someone, especially 20 to 30-year-olds, they go...
Oh no, I'm an bingo karaoke, I'm on that.
Okay, good. Well, this is bingo on steroids with the most ridiculous lights, crazy atmosphere, dancers. sort of Japanese theme. Futuristic. That's what I'm going to say. I cannot describe it any other way. It is incredible.
It's like bingo with Viagra.
Yeah, good idea. Bingo with Viagra. I like that.
Sounds good.
Well, mate, honestly, thank you so much for coming down, and I'm looking forward to seeing your next bits of content. And make sure you use the app, because we're going to give you some good days out.
We're going to enjoy tonight.
Legend, mate.
Dingo, dingo, ningo, bingo.